Hey, true believers. Chris Mack coming at you with Sabretooth issue 1. In this book, I have mixed feelings, but overall, I thoroughly enjoyed it. This is Sabretooth's first solo series, and I gotta tell you, just diving right into it, this was a rough read. The artwork cover just takes me back to that time when artists really tried. That's what I'm talking about when I do a lot of the modern book reviews, where the artwork feels a little flat, or it's serviceable, but it's not dynamic. I mean, for God's sake, look at this. They did not need to go this hard back in the day, but people tried because they wanted to keep, comic sales up there in the 500,000s. Back then, Jim Shooter did not accept, 100,000, 90,000. Those books got canceled. That's why Claremont's books and all of them stand the test of time, because they put the effort in. And even though this series was a mini-series, I mean, look at this. Just gorgeous, gorgeous work. Now, this takes place in Vancouver, British Columbia. Sabretooth's going back to his home. The print date is August 93. Now, for those of you that remember this series better than I do, I don't know where it lines up in terms of continuity, because, Sabretooth is fighting, what is he? Fighting the X-Men in issue 6 of when Jim Lee was still writing X-Men. And that's where we get our first appearance of Birdie. And then all of a sudden here he's just going home. And before he can even open the damn door, he's attacked by the Hand. And just look at this. This screams, Frank Miller style here. Just like what they did with the 80s Wolverine run that he did with Chris Claremont. Now, before we go further into this, let's talk about Home Hunter and who created this. This is Larry Hama, writer. Marks Texeria doing the art. Richard Starking's letter. Steve Bucoletto, colorist. Bob Harris was the editor, and Tom DeFalco was the chief at this time. You don't, and I know a lot of people use the digital art nowadays. And as I've said, around this time, that digital art was kind of starting to become a thing, but still, this was more just straight up traditional pencil, ink, and coloring methods. And it just adds another layer that we don't see that often anymore in modern comic books. Now, when I was talking about mixed feelings with the artwork, as we just saw a moment ago, absolutely spectacular. But then here, it's moments like these where, you kind of get that loose pencil fill. To me, that just looks like his face is just like someone forgot to finish it. You know what I mean? Stuff like that I find disgusting. But here, like when he's trying to kill off all these hands, he's like, what is this, an infestation? Yeah, the dirtiness here, the cross-thatching and all that stuff, it adds to it. But if I were, Bob Harris or Tom DeFalco, I'd have been like, hey, Tex, you need to go back and you need to fix that face, buddy. The rest of it's fine, but that face is absolutely horrible. Now, trying to get the page turned. Enters Birdie. And if you guys have some more recommended reading for her, let me know, because I think she's kind of a fun character. She reminds me of, I cannot remember her name for the life of me, but she kind of reminds me of that Psy character from Judge Dredd in the 2000 AD comics. She has the look, she has the ability, and it's just, look at the way she tears through the hand, just boom. Just great stuff all around. Now, I remember when I was reviewing X-Men Legends 8 and 9, and I said I wasn't too sure who Birdie was. And I've read these books before, but I just for the life of me could not remember her. And so I had to kind of look her up, because in the Legends, they seem more friendly. And maybe down the road, they found more respect for each other. But here, he's using her essentially to keep him calm, to kind of keep that beast feeling at bay. And he really treats her like crap. She's like, your muscles are all tight and knotted. You have to cool out, and you don't tell me what to do. Sploosh! What a douche nozzle, man. So you shouldn't have did that. Do that to someone you let trapeze inside your brain. All it takes is an aneurysm. You ain't got the sand to kill me, Birdie. Because there ain't nowhere enough for you to run if you tries and fails. And it just shows how much more of a dick Sabretooth really is. So anyway, we get into his mind. And that was what I was really wanting to read this book for, is you get a couple of glimpses into his memory. And the way that he embraces it, he's just like, you know what this is like for me? It's like dying and being born. Like a white hot hurting and pure joy. Like taking what you want and getting what you fear. Like killing and making, and I don't know what the hell you're supposed to say there, but anyway, we see this kid. And they call me Creed. Will you be my friend? It's just, oh, that uncanny valley right there is just absolutely terrifying. And then all of a sudden you see the type of person that Birdie can be. She's like, sure, I'll be your friend. Who did this to you? They did. We can't tell them about us being friends, you know. They'll punish me. They always punish me. And so Birdie tried to console him. He's like, are you going to hurt me too? And she's like, no, honey. I think you may have been hurt too much. This reminds me, have you guys ever seen The Cell with Jennifer Lopez? This kind of reminds me of that, and I'm wondering if that's where Larry Hama kind of got the inspiration for it. But before we can get any further, we kind of get into teenage Creed. It's like, oh, ain't that sweet. Almost enough to melt the heart of the king of mean. But you know what they say. Almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. So don't be wasting that good stuff on the phantoms out of the past. He just decks Birdie, and he's like, I need that glow, Birdie. I need you to take away the pain. And so just the domestic violence of this issue is hard to get through, but Birdie has a plan. She turns off the security system. And these guys, they remind me of James Cameron's Colonial Marines. I mean, look at the way they come in with these big-ass guns. And Sabretooth's just like, this was a bad idea, Birdie. You can't run from me. But, you know, they eventually get him. Gonna turn the page. And as you can see, as long as they kind of keep the faces clean, the artwork really services the story. It's just when it looks like they're like marking all over the face like that, it's just very much bleh. And so as these Marines are taking him away, he's like, I'm gonna fix you. You hear that? I'm gonna fix you. And then here, while he's doped out, we get another part of Sabretooth's past. And this was hard to look at. This is some hard subject matter. But we see how his parents kept him locked up in the cellar. And the dad wanting to rip his teeth out. The mom makes a feeble attempt to want to save him, but she eventually concedes to what the dad wants. And then we're back into reality. So you kind of, in a sense, get how Creed grew up to be such a sociopath. And I'll tell you right now, it was a good read. It was an interesting comic. But man, there are some just moments that are really hard to get through, guys. You're just a lot of very sensitive subject matter. But that's what makes for good comic books, is when they can make an engaging story, but also make you feel uncomfortable at the same time. Kind of like when you're watching a horror movie or certain types of drama. That's definitely what Larry Hama did with this first issue. The reason I don't want to spoil the end is he has to go kill somebody that he knows, and we all know. And so I don't want to spoil that. But if you've enjoyed what you've seen, y'all, please, first and foremost, go support your local comic shop and pick up the whole miniseries. If you liked what you've seen and you want me to review the rest of the series, let me know, and I'll go out and I'll try to see if I can't find the other 3, because I think it's a 4-part miniseries. If you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate if you take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you possibly know. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that fancy little Sabretooth bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys will get notified. Come to the channel, and we love talking with you all and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments below, or our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, thank you so much for stopping by. Hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting true believers.